Stop talking about American things and let's watch the best film ever made.
You're listening to the Drinks in a Movie podcast, hosted by Rudy Ruiz. Spoiler alert.
I'll tell you about the spy who loved me. I'm Roger Moore. Bang! Blood dribbles down. We're on a submarine. Two sailors sit down and have a game of chess. And the cups start wobbling, and then a man who used to be in the Eden line comes in and goes, "Why are the cups wobbling? What's going on?" And then he pulls down the periscope thing, looks through it and goes, "Oh my God, the submarine's being eaten by a giant tanker." And then we cut to Moscow, and there's a man there, and he's Russian, he's got eyebrows, you know. And he's on the phone going, "What, a whole submarine? You're joking! I'm gonna have to tell some other Russians. See ya!" And then it cuts to James, Roger Moore, and yes, he's with a lady. yeah, he's necking with her. Right, and he goes, "I've got to go, love. Something's come up."
He means his cock.
Yeah. Anyway, then he puts on his underpants and his ski suit, and he gets on his skis and he starts skiing, and he's being chased by these Russian shits in black jumpsuits with lemon piping. And he's just skiing along like that, and they start shooting at him, and he goes, "Right, I've had enough of that, just stop it!" And he turns around with this gun, and then he does a backward somersault off this ramp, and he lands on his feet. I'm not sure why, but he's not showing off. And then he goes over a cliff, and he's falling, and you think, "Oh, God, James Bond's going to die, he's going to die!" But then, at the last minute...
He pulls a ripcord, right, and a parachute comes out, and it's got a Union Jack on it.
Michael! That's not the end of the beginning. The end of the beginning goes like this. Glang. Glang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang. Glang-a-lang-lang-a-lang-a-lang. Nobody does it better. And I'm a naked woman in silhouette with a gun, spinning round. Makes me feel sad for the rest. Nobody does it. Oh, bit of nipple. Quite as good as you. Baby, you're the best.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Drinks and Movie Podcast. I'm out here with Matt once again.
Hello.
And this is another revisiting episode. We're gonna be revisiting The Spy Who Loved Me from 1977.
You just can't quit Bond, can you?
I can't. Yeah, I know. I'm watching them like every day. So we're talking James Bond number 10.
This is number 10.
So I've gotten to see this one a few times. This is your first time watching
my first Roger
Moore movie. Yep.
So excited.
I think this is a good one to start with.
Oh my God, it was
probably the best one to start with.
I fucking loved it. Sorry, I was going to say it right off the bat.
So first off, though, for this one, we are drinking from your Infinity bottle.
Infinity bottle. You ready for this reveal?
What do we have in here?
Okay, so back in June of 24.
Okay.
So this one's been sitting for a little bit. We got Knob Creek 9, Eagle Rare, Woodford Reserve. I don't know how that ended up in there. Russell's Reserve. Sorry, we've already done an episode, folks. Russell's Reserve Single Barrel, Knob Creek 12, and then Sagamore Double Oak. And about 2 to 3 ounces of each.
All right.
So there's nothing more than 3 ounces. So it's been sitting for a year and a...
No.
That's why we can't record 2 episodes. Okay, I'm saying, I'm spilling all over the place. I've enjoyed this one, and I will tell you a shout out to Chris Cowling, because my Infinity bottle is bottled in a gift from Chris Cowling on his wedding day. So thank you, Chris, and see where we get.
Yeah, cheers.
As I'm enjoying this sip, I got to tell you, man, I didn't even know this was a thing until you had suggested it. And I freaking love it. It's usually my go-to, actually.
Oh,
but
really?
I'm enjoying the taste of it so much that I don't want to drink it too much. I've been continuing to add, and it's been the last time I added was 2 months ago.
Does it tell you the proof too when you put them in?
Does it?
Because you're using the app, right?
Yeah. So it's 98.9.
Okay.
So whatever that is, one.
I definitely taste like the bean
90%.
influence in here for sure.
I mean, there's
like
a fair
the
amount.
bean notes come through a lot.
And you and I have talked Sagamore. Sagamore has this like sweetness to it, so that's the most recent one that's at the top of it. So that's probably what we're getting a little bit more of than anything else. But
The double oak, right?
yeah, which is from the ones you can get in the store, that's my preferred go-to.
Yeah.
But some of the specialties I've really enjoyed. Some of those how they barrel them in different barrels.
Yeah, I need to hit my infinity bottle soon. It's been a long
This is
time.
really tasty, man. I really like it.
Yeah.
It definitely, you're saying, like tastes beamy and definitely tastes like bourbon, but it's got a little sweetness to it, but still with a richness. I wish I could, like almost like I don't know if it's dark chocolate or something to it, but there's this richness to it that I'm really quite enjoying.
Yeah, no, it has like a lot of good depth of flavor. Like sometimes, I've been doing different infinity bottles for a while, and it's like you can get to a point where somehow it all just gets kind of mellowed out.
Yeah, man.
But this one is like, I'd say like the richness of it is pretty similar to the single barrel we just had, even though, and that's what's crazy, right? It's like sub 100 proof,
Right.
But I feel like kind of punches in a similar, it almost feels like the 113 proof, not in terms of like heat, but just of like how much flavor is in the mix,
I also appreciate that that like what a great way to save the last 2 ounces of your bottle and make something new with it. So I guess there's no real. Excuse me. The next ad might be the OGD. I'm almost finished with that bottle. So, if for those of you who don't know, like when I get a bottle, I usually finish it before I move on to the next bottle. So, so this is like the perfect way for me to save the last one, and then. But I've been doing this so much, I haven't bought in a bottle. I haven't bought a bottle in a while. So, jeez,
Yeah, no, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
this is cool. This is fun.
So, The Spy Who Loved Me. So this follows James Bond, who is, I'm just going to read off.
Yeah, go George.
Investigates the hijacking of British and Russian submarines carrying nuclear warheads with the help of a KGB agent whose lover he killed. So this was Roger Moore's third outing. And this movie's got...
Oh, this wasn't his first?
No, it was the third one. It feels like it would be the first, right?
Yeah, for
Like,
real.
it feels... Because this one... Because, Live and Let Die was
So
the
many
first
things, yeah.
one. Then Man with the Golden Gun was the second one.
Gotcha.
But this one, like the way it opens, it feels like it would be like setting up the new
yes.
Bond. Live and Let Die doesn't really give him a cool intro. Like even The Living Daylights, like Timothy Dalton had a good intro.
Yeah, for real.
Pierce Brosnan had a good intro. This one, so that's why I recommended this one because one,
I'm so glad.
for me, it's probably the best of the Roger Moore films. Obviously, that's subjective. But it's definitely, I think anyone who's into Bond can agree that it's like one of the best Bond
So
movies.
good.
It's like top 10.
It's
at least.
it's already
Yeah.
in my top ones. I loved it.
Yeah, top 10 Bond movies. And this came at a point where they were like kind of on a decline. Like they were still making money, but from what I understand and looking into the history, like it's when it started to go down and it was kind of like, all right, maybe people are kind of over it. It didn't help that like Connery left, then George Lazenby came in, then Connery came back, then he left again, and now we're in more. So it was kind of at a weird point. So when they got to this movie, it had to be a fucking hitter. Like otherwise, like if this movie didn't succeed, it could have maybe been the end of the whole thing. Who knows? And this was also the first movie where they had to write like pretty much a fully original script. So The Spy Who Loved Me is an Ian Fleming novel, but I guess I don't really know the details, but they didn't have the rights to use the story. They could only use the title. But also in the story, I have the book. I haven't read it yet.
Oh, okay.
But the whole book is not like Bond's only in the end for a little bit. It's all from the perspective of like a woman character.
Oh, interesting.
And then it's like not even, and then Bond's like a character that comes in kind of at the end. Yeah, Ian Fleming was just trying something different.
Right, yeah.
And even with the books.
Oh,
I
he
guess
read that,
people-
but he wrote in that many books. I totally get it, yeah.
And I guess even with the book, people were not. I saw an interview where he's like, yeah, people kind of hated that. So we're just going back. But so yeah, this was the first time they had to like kind of write a whole new, all right. I mean, there's other movies that were like pretty different, from the source material.
Yeah.
But this, may have been the most up to that point.
I was reading something too that might have actually been contractually that they had to differentiate it from the book somehow
Yeah.
for contractually because a lot of authors are protective over their work, which
Yeah.
makes sense in literature.
And what's interesting too is so they got Lewis Gilbert to direct this one, who did You Only Live Twice. And I saw an interview clip where he was the one who kind of said, apparently he told the producers like Cubby Broccoli and friends that like, there's a sense that you guys are trying to make Roger Moore like into Sean Connery. So when we do this movie, we just got to like lean into his strengths. And that's where you get more humor, more of the double entendres. Not that they weren't doing that before, but with Roger Moore, they definitely stepped that up a little bit more and played to his strengths. Where you can kind of see in Live and Let Die, Man with the Golden Gun, there's some harsh scenes and moments that like, yeah, it feels like he's trying to do Connery and it doesn't quite fit. And I think they kind of nailed it out of the park with this one.
I read an article that quoted Roger Moore's biography on some of his experiences as 007, and he said this was the most enjoyable film because there was some freedom to improvise and do some things. I love that they lean into the ridiculousness and they don't apologize for it. I had a smile and I laughed through this entire film. And I think that's the point of it because you're putting these situations are absurd. And the fact that they didn't shy away from that brings us in as an audience. Like I literally felt like I'm right along with I'm enjoying the same shit Roger Moore was enjoying throughout making the film. So loved it. Loved that part about it. So
very escapist, man.
Great way to put it.
I want to start with this opening. Like,
so except for two things.
There have been really good, stunt moments in the Bond films prior to this, of course. But I feel like once they hit the Roger Moore era, that's when they leaned into it a lot more. And I feel like starting with this movie is when it kind of turned into like we have to open with like a banger stunt, right? And so first, let's start here. First, we have the submarines being kind of hijacked a little bit, like You Only Live Twice, now that I think about it, when the ship like swallows the other space capsules or whatever. Similar kind of thing happens here. And, they start with like the Russians, right? General Gogol, we got to get our best agent.
Russian,
and I just love
English on a sub. Anyway, go
yeah, right.
Got it.
And I love this kind of reveal moment where it's like, we got to put our best agent on the case. So it's like, all right, they're setting up like a kind of alternative James Bond character. And when the guy turns over in bed, and that actor apparently auditioned for Bond at one point.
Really?
Like he was one of the kind of front runners.
This one got me, by the way. This reveal got me. Okay.
Yeah, and it's such a good moment, and he answers the phone and he's just like, oh yeah, they're right here. And then he gets out of bed and then it turns out to be Barbara Bach is Agent Triple X,
So good.
The best they got.
It got me. I was totally not expecting that because I know nothing about the film. So it really got me.
Yeah, no, I thought it was kind of brilliant the first time I saw it. I actually got to see this movie at New Beverly Cinema too. Like the second time I saw it was there at the theater.
Big screen, I'm jealous.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome.
I want to watch this one now.
Especially this opening. That was like the number one thing I was looking forward to.
So it surprises me to hear you say, but then I ended up reading this about like this was like the make or break. It could have been a make or break Bond film. We don't know, but it could have been because this one just feels bigger and bigger than the Connery ones I've seen. Like this one felt like it had a scope to it that the Connery. I haven't seen all the Connery films, but the Connery films I've seen had, and I was like immediately taken in by this opening intro. I have to be critical for just one moment because I think we talked about this actually on one of the previous episodes. Everything looks fucking awesome until they do the close-ups of Roger Moore.
Yeah, it's rough.
I get it. It's 77. I totally get it. But now Star Wars exists. So like, the stunts and the action speak so highly for itself. I don't even think you needed those.
Yeah.
But I understand in 77, you've just sunk a bunch of money into a new leading man. You want it. I'm sure you want to show him on the screen. So I give him a little bit of that, but I bumped on it.
No, they're especially bad too. He's just like, it's like,
and then you've got the stuntman doing these ridiculous shit.
Yeah.
It looks terrifying.
Like, it's crazy. Like, yeah, that whole ski sequence, man.
So cool.
And I think of it too, like, we're camera people. So, there's this shot where it's like the camera POV. So the camera guy is like skiing behind him and they go through like under this little ice thing and all this shit. And there's a moment where then Bond like fucking jumps and does a 180 and like brings up his gun and like, I like the moments where it doesn't cut to the like green screen or whatever rear projection, like it's shot super well, and you see that a lot in On Her Majesty's too. On Her Majesty's was the first one that was like had a snow setting.
Oh, cool.
And that was the first one to do like ski chases and same shit. Like it's shot so well. The stunt work and the camera work's incredible. And then every once in a while, it's like a close up that's really bad. But I always love to, like, I understand why they did this for like the movie, because you have to see him. But like when he gets out of bed with that lady, and then you know, what does he say? Something about like England's calling or whatever, and he has like the brightest yellow suit with like the red beanie and the red, like the loudest, like, hey, everybody look at me.
Look at me.
Like no camera. Again, I understand for the movie, right? We need to be able to see him. I get
Totally,
that. But it just makes me laugh.
It is definitely a audience. Hope you see this.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you can't have him wearing white.
No. But besides those two bubs, it's fucking awesome, man. They got
that's
shit
amazing.
blowing up, and you got all these people chasing them, shooting off the guns. Oh my God.
And that music is, I love how like 70s that
Yes.
music
Oh, man,
is. It just, you know, you're in the different, you're in like a new era. Like that stuff, like, you know, again, in watching these all in order, that's like part of the fun of it is like seeing how it all like evolves. Like, you know, aesthetically, musically, sound, and all that.
It's brilliant. It might be one of my favorite openings I've watched, except for the two flow, because it only happens 2 or 3 times where they go to a flow zone. Besides that, this opening was awesome.
Yeah. And so pretty soon I'm going to do a ranking of, I don't know if I'm going to do all the openings, probably just top 10. But this is most likely, spoiler alert, going to be number 1.
Yeah, it might be for me too, dude. It's so good.
When I first watched this, man, I literally had chills and I smiled from ear to ear when he jumps off the cliff.
Oh my God.
And the camera's just, and it goes
It takes
on
it
for
forever.
so long.
Oh my God.
And then
dude.
he's falling, and you're like, how the fuck high are they? Like, I thought he would have hit the ground already.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, they're way up there.
I know the parachute's coming out at some point, but it keeps going and going.
And then it looks like he's going through like clouds.
Oh
It's like,
my God,
like they're
dude.
so hot. Like, where did they even find this location and a guy that was willing to do this thing?
Holy,
but
it feels like for modern audiences, it feels like a Tom Cruise stunt because like it's almost unbelievable, but you know they're doing it.
Yeah,
for real. They have to.
And that's the thing. When I saw this movie, and even like the last two, but this moment especially, that's when I was like, that's why Tom Cruise does what he did. That's why
literally
in
why,
Mission Impossible, like the stunt stuff is such a big thing. It's like, it's because of these movies. And like the beginning of Moonraker also has like, that might be number 1 for like the coolest opening stunt too. There's one thing about that might knock it down to number 2, but it's like these 2 movies. But when the parachute opens up and then the music starts, right?
I gotta tell you, I did laugh when the British flag comes down because I'm like, oh, Austin Powers. We're gonna talk about it a couple because but I did bump on the Austin Powers stuff. It's I know. I grew up with Austin Powers. It's tough. It's tough to hit it. So.
No, but that's like, and you can only imagine, right? And you hear about like stories about this too. That I mean, think about at the time, like this movie opening up, like in the UK, and that happening.
Oh my God!
How like blown away. Yeah.
And I also, by the way, as we get into the opening title sequence, I actually thought they did really good, something unexpected, where the vibe of the opening song. It wasn't upbeat and expected, it wasn't like, it wasn't pounding disco. It was this melancholy and this very chill vibe from the music. So I appreciated that. That was I wasn't expecting that from what this most amazing, action-packed intro. Great, brilliant.
And the way it dissolves to like the parachute into like the silhouette hands.
So good.
And then like the
Literally,
silhouette
looks like it's
of him
cupping
and
it,
the chick. Like,
oh, dude.
One of my favorite opening songs
Title-
too.
titles-
Carly Simon,
brilliant.
Nobody Does It Better.
And it looks like
so good.
Roger Moore, by the way, in the title sequence, which I'm not sure if it actually was in.
It's the first time they've done it. There's a part where he like comes up. It's like Roger Moore and Ian Fleming.
Oh, dude,
that was the first time that,
like, I appreciated that because we talked about, we missed that a little bit. It's not what's his face. It's not Connery. In the opening titles. Anyway, super cool. I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, amazing opening. Like, to this day, of all 25 movies, like it's like top 5 at least.
And this is my first time seeing it, and it's up there for me too, dude. It is fantastic.
Yeah.
Watch it, folks, just for that. Holy shit.
No, man. When I saw it at the New Beverly, I was like, oh, this is, I can't wait for it. And you can feel the energy too, because most of the people in there have seen it. So they're like,
they know it.
They're waiting for this. And everyone just like yelling and cheering once the parachute opens up.
I love it. That's crazy.
So fun. But yeah, I mean, getting into the rest of the movie, I mean, I really love the idea of him kind of having his I keep wanting to say a shadow Bond, but that's not what she is. But just like the counterpart that he has to work with, and when they connect, I really do love their dynamic.
It's great
together.
It's so good,
and they're trying to like one up each other. I think is like really fun and kind of works. And he was I think Sean Connery would have been good for it too. Roger Moore is just maybe perfect. I don't think she's that great of an actress. Like, I think she's just fine. Like, I think there could have been something more there. Like, if they got, like, I don't know. I think maybe I'm just thinking of Diana Rigg. Like, I think she could have maybe brought a little more pep to it, you know? But
so my opinion on that is that, like, I think the character is so well designed. It didn't, you want an equal to Bond. And I felt like her choices, and actually his choices too, created the tension. So like I was forgiving of the performance. I didn't notice I didn't bump on the performance because the situations they put him in where just, you know, I know how many different things did we talk about where they tried to kill each other, but they didn't do it, you know, like, you know, I thought it was really well done.
Yeah. No, I mean, and she's not bad by any means. I just think she's fine. Like, she's fine. She's fine. Good. And the character does a lot of work, like you kind of said right here, like the writing, the character design. I think that was a good way to put it. So it's not a bad thing. And she's really like I buy her being this agent. And then again, with their dynamic, and like, I like how she can be like kind of cute, but like really kind of stabbing them at the same time. Like, I love when she backs into Jaws, like hits him against the wall and she's like, shake it, not stir it. And goes in their moment,
and they know each other's drinks by the way. Previously to that,
that's one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah,
when that's kind of their way of sizing each other up, like Bacardi on the rocks or whatever, and then martini, shaken, not stirred.
Very well done.
But that's a really great moment too, and I was really taken aback by this moment. One of my favorite moments in this movie is when they're at that bar scene and they're talking about each other's history, like they've studied the dossiers, right?
Yes, they know the ins out.
And we get a really great performance moment from Roger Moore. It's short-lived, but he shows so much in this moment. Is when she's, you know, going off all his characteristics and is like married once, wife killed, blah blah blah, and he's like, all right, that's done. And he like shuts her down. He's like, that's the end of it. Like, we're done with this. And she's like, oh, and you're sensitive. And he's like, about some things, yeah. First off, I was taken aback that they brought that up because it felt like, all right, that's a story point that we're just not going to give a shit anymore. So when they bring it up, like numerous movies later, I'm like, oh shit. Like, all right, we are, because sometimes it's like, is it the same continuity? I don't know. But now it's like, oh, 100% we are. Like, this is a history and it's a weight that he carries with him still many movies later. And they give Roger Moore, he does it so well. He gets that little moment to show like a lot of vulnerability that we haven't seen much from the character prior to this. So that scene really stands out for me. And just for that, like 30 seconds, it's probably one of my favorite scenes in the whole series. Like, I just love them going back and forth and then him getting really serious. You know, like it's all cute until it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that song. And her dress is fucking amazing too.
I was going to comment on that next. I know we shouldn't, but there is, in film, we only have a certain amount of time when we're making a movie, right? So like the fact you have to believe the character, similar with Bond, we have to believe Bond's Bond within a very short period of time. And the only way you can do that is by the visuals, by what we see on screen. And she's photographed in a way, lit in a way, costumed in a way, maked it in a way that's, man, it is striking. Basically the whole movie. Yeah. I didn't bump as much on the performance as maybe, and I don't think you're bumping on it. You're just like, you know, it would have been interesting to see what other actors what choices. But But like I got to tell you, I was a little taken in by like how striking she is on film. Yeah. She's gorgeous. I mean, beautiful.
And I say that, but at the same time, I don't know that I could even imagine someone else doing that part. Like, she just has such a look in her voice and everything. Like, I can't.
So cool when she does some of the things that she does, because, you know, my freaking male brain, I'm just like, oh, there's this beautiful woman on screen, you know. So to see her do some of this really cool shit later on, your brain, sometimes my brain at least breaks a little bit. So, you know, I think it's totally cool.
Yeah, I love the. I was in a survival course in Siberia or whatever. You know, the most important lesson they taught us, a positive mental attitude. And Bond's just trying to like it. And I love that when she like blows that dust in his face. I thought that was genius. And
One of the things, because we're gonna get into this comes around the time where they fight Jaws for the first time and all these kind of things.
Yeah.
And first of all, I love the complete disregard for the body count in this film. Nobody is ever lamented for their death. Like it's just your death, move on. Kill the guy, move on. But then secondly, I thought Jaws was a super interesting character. One, because yes, I've lived through Austin Powers, and so I can't get past some of those things. But then number two, he creates a really interesting foil that his superpower is his jaw, like literally his teeth and shit like
Yeah.
that. So they get into in all of them, by the way, every James Bond film I have, I'm like, I get a little bit bored by the fist fighting because I'm like, okay, you got all this cool shit around you and then you're gonna end up punching each other at some point. Okay, I get it. It's James Bond movie, it's fine. But like this one, I thought they did it in interesting ways where like Jaws is literally tearing apart the car as they're first fighting.
yeah, he's like
what is he,
grabbing
like
it,
a
and when they drive
supervillain?
off, yeah. No, well, I love this kind of joke too.
It's
where
funny.
it's like,
It's campy.
yeah, where it's
Yeah.
like he pretty much dies like 6 times, but always like
Literally,
while like
dude.
the shit falls on him and he like gets
End
that.
of the movie, he's still alive.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, and I like that. Like he's kind of a cartoon character. in
Literally
that way,
a
that,
super villain.
Yeah,
But
yeah. In a fan favorite henchman, you know, so much
he's
so that
great.
they brought him back in the next movie. The
I
only
was curious
person
if he
they've done
comes
that.
back because I'm like,
Yeah.
they let him live at the end. That is very not James Bondy like.
Yeah.
You know, everyone dies.
Yeah.
You know, all the villains die. in the scene, So
By taking a bite out of the shark and
Right.
advantage. That's a thing. It happens.
I could not stop laughing when he bites the front of the shark. I'm just like, especially after the shark had just destroyed this woman going for her. You know,
Yeah,
the first lady who gives up the guys who worked on the thing. So I was like, oh my gosh, oh, it was hilarious.
Richard Keel, man, like what a guy,
Dude.
And
Oh, yeah, wait.
when they're fighting on the train, because it's like, yeah, he's tall, obviously, but when they're fighting on the train and he's like holding Roger like Bond up
yeah.
against the wall, choking him, and you see like how fucking big his hands are, like his hands are like covering his whole face. It's like, oh shit, that's when it's like, man, what an oppose. That was a pretty good jump scare too when she like opens the closet and he's just in there.
Right.
Which I will say, I noticed this more so. This is, I think, my 3rd time watching it. A lot of use of zoom lenses in this movie, and I really dig it. A lot of zooms.
Oh yeah,
A lot of zooms.
I think it added.
Yeah, I know. It's
It
cool.
feels a little bit-
I love zooms.
Of the time, I will say
Yeah.
that. But at the same time, like, okay, cool, I dig
Yeah.
it. You want to add some emphasis on that part?
Yeah, I think I'm new. Like now that I'm going back and like watching them all my 2nd and 3rd time, it's like I'm catching on because when I watch them the first time, I'm just experiencing it. But now that I'm like going back and seeing them in different orders, it is interesting, like the nuance of how differently some are. Like you start to notice the directing and the cinematography differences and all that.
When is it Goldfinger? Is that the name of?
That the 3rd one?
Yeah. So when we watched that one, that was the first time I kind of got like this vibe of it's okay to push the antagonist into a little bit, you know, larger than life, cartoony to a certain sense. And I feel like this one really leaned into that. And it's the
With Jaws specifically, or with
Yeah, with Jaws
Stronger?
specifically, yeah.
Yeah, he's a cartoon character.
is a cartoon character, you know, which I think contrasts well to Megalomaniac. What's his face? Stromberg, yeah. So, which as a whole design in of itself, I thought it was. This one I struggled a bit, having lived through Austin Powers, because I felt like Austin Powers did so much with these type of tropes and stuff like that. At the same time, I was like, I chuckled all the way through it, and then. It took me a few minutes to get in. I think it's okay to like. Actually, I shouldn't say it took me. I enjoyed laughing and enjoying and smiling at how ridiculous some of these decisions are. The fact he's got this layer with all the windows and all that kind of stuff, and then he can press a button and the lady falls into the sharks and stuff like that. So like, I got to tell you, it made it entertaining and fun and okay to laugh at some of the absurdity we're seeing that the things that these guys do.
Yeah, and they want that. I mean, they made. Totally. It's funny you bring up Goldfinger. Like that was the movie where they like actively made that decision. Like, all right, we're gonna set this tone to lean into like we know it's
larger than
silly
life.
and we're gonna do
Yeah,
it.
it's
And,
silly.
and it's purely like the escapist kind of fun stuff. And that's what I love about this movie. It's like you get some of the the drama and
Yeah.
the violence, and there's some crazy stakes sometimes, and the humor and this and that. It's like it blends it all so well. Like there's not many movies that I can watch like this one, you know, and I can like kind of half joke that like Jaws is a cartoon character, but it still works.
It totally works.
It really works somehow.
I think one of the reasons it works, by the way, is because the relationship between him and Triple X is like we're at the core of this. I felt I was interested in their relationship and how they're going to work through these problems because we can see they're both. The job is the loyalty to your country is the most important thing above all else. And so they come from the same place, the same set of beliefs. And so that's why but I really enjoyed seeing them on screen doing their thing and all those kind of things. So like, I think that's why it works with the ridiculousness of, especially, I mean, I love the midpoint car chase between, you know, the car that
the Lotus.
Oh, dude,
the Lotus
it's
is
so
free.
fucking cool, man.
That shot. There's one shot. Like the coordination behind this stuff amazes me. Where it's when the helicopter starts chasing him,
dude.
and it disappears for a second, and they're like driving, and perfect timing. It comes up from the side, like
dude.
right beside him,
With the
and
smiles and everything.
Yeah, and she.
Oh my God, dude. I saw it was perfect.
Yeah. And he just blows her up. With
I feel like that influenced basically every other, it had to have influenced. Man, I haven't seen all of them, but I feel like that had a huge impact on what the chases would be for Bond moving on.
Yeah, no, man, definitely. Like that's part of the cool thing of like going back and watching these movies. Like you see where like certain scenes
This is
are
the Daniel Craig chase.
are planted, and
Maybe the second, but I feel like this is every chase scene basically
Yeah.
since then. So
well, man, even like, you know, I was watching Live and Let Die again earlier. That was the first Moore movie, and that one has like a really long boat chase, like a kind of strangely long one where it almost feels like it's a different movie for like 20 minutes because then there's like a cop character. It's a whole thing. You just have to watch it, but it
we
feels
all
like
going to.
there's a sidebar and there's like, here's a 20-minute short film inside the movie. That's like an awesome boat chase with jumps and all that. And they do this crazy car chase and Man with the Golden Gun where it does like a barrel roll over a river. It's fucking, but yeah, like it kind of started to set like the template for what was to come. And maybe not even in Bond movies, but like some of the other action movies. Like I think it's easy, at least for me, to forget, like, man, how many other action directors that like probably don't talk about it, but were like really influenced
it
by
does
these
such a good
films.
job of like, okay, we've got one thing, and then it keeps adding on, and it raises the stakes. And I think this is why I bump on the hand-to-hand combat, because when two characters are fighting it out, I don't feel like they're adding like one thing leads to another, making it bigger. It's just two guys punching each other in the face. This one, we start off with just a simple introduction of what the vehicle can do and why it's special, but then we introduce all these different elements into it, and we keep raising it. We have a helicopter shooting a machine gun with, you know, and then it drives off the fucking
Like the dock or
the
whatever,
dock, and
yeah.
I'm just like, and then it can say, you know, I loved it, and I really feel like it almost like epitomizes what a Bond movie can be.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I enjoyed it. So I literally smiled ear to ear for, I don't know how long it was, 10 minutes, 15, whatever, however long it was on screen, smiling ear to ear the whole time.
Yeah, it's a great sequence. The submarine thing is cool. I love there's a moment where she like presses something. He's like, how'd you know it would do that? And she's like, I stole the schematics to this years ago.
So good. You're like, that doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that something Bond would normally do?
Yeah. What'd you think, like talking about villains and everything, what did you, besides the kind of, I guess, sillier aspects, like what did you think of Stromberg overall as like the main villain?
He reminded me a bit of Goldfinger, to be honest with you. I felt
okay.
in the sense that we've got this one character pulling the strings. So he's got his people and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
I thought it was well done, established it. Like, I like the idea. So, you know, in a lot of film that we see over here in the States, the Russians are always bad guys. And the Russians are just one aspect of this film. Like, this is the bad guy. It's separate from that. So I appreciated there was somebody else pulling the strings, and I think that created an interesting element for Bond.
Yeah.
You know? And so I like the design of his ridiculous lair that he can, you know, it's in the water and all this kind of stuff. But, and the whole, I put myself back in the 60s. Nuclear proliferation was a big thing happening at that point. So I guess it all comes to say, I thought it was fine. I thought the other stuff was so much more interesting. I didn't even he's almost to me sometimes like an afterthought because I was so involved in what was happening with Triple X, and Jaws was so ridiculous that I was having so much fun with those. This is where I run and watch it again because, like, to me, we get there eventually, and I love that he's unceremoniously just shot in the chest. Like, that part, I just fucking love that. I guess that, whatever. Put him down, we're done.
Yeah.
I fucking love that.
I think so for me, because I would say that, like, and I think you'd agree, I think everyone would agree, like, Bond villains can really kind of make the movie. They're just as important as everything else. Like, if not like some of the most important aspects. And I think he's one of the weaker villains of the whole series. He's just not really he's very plain.
It's interesting because I see he's the background for me too. So it's that's why.
And it's a good thing that they have Jaws because I feel like Jaws kind of makes up for it in a way, even though he's the henchman character. Because that's the other thing too. It's like there's the main villain, and then if you're lucky, you'll get like a good henchman. Like almost every movie, there's like the henchman character, and probably all of them.
The one what was the one at the train? I don't remember. It was Connery, but it was a little less.
Oh, From Russia with Love.
Yeah, that one was.
I guess it was like, and that's an interesting one because it's like Grant, but also Rosa Klebb, but like really kind of Grant. But really her.
But so deep in the 007. Holy shit!
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Have you watched any other movies since then? I should sorry.
Just barely. I'm always like, I gotta watch new movies. I'm like, no, I'll put on another Bond.
There's a lot of good shit out there. Okay, sorry.
Especially now that they're all on Netflix. I'm like, right? I just see them on there, and I'm like, I guess I'm watching this one today.
I guess I'll watch them.
Very easy.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a very weak villain. I think the plan was kind of like, and the comparison to Goldfinger is interesting. I think like if you were to go back and watch Goldfinger, you'd find that he's a way more
better,
interesting
villain.
Gotcha, yeah. Like he's pretty good. He's like top 5 of all them. Even to this day, he's the really best one. It's like, but yeah, this dude just so pleased just eating his nuts, like kill them when they leave. Kind of playing his plan is interesting. And spoiler alert, it's because they have like kind of the same villain plan for 2 movies in a row. Like Moonraker's like the same, because his thing in this is like, I'm taking the nukes and I'm gonna annihilate everybody
and start a new world.
We're gonna live underwater. Right. And Moonraker was like, we're gonna kill everybody and we're gonna live in space.
I mean, there's only so many ways you can take over the world. So maybe I don't know.
But yeah, I think it's like, yeah, the way he gets killed was kind of like, I didn't expect them to have like a hand-to-hand fight, but it is a little like, okay, just shot him. But then you get the fight with Jaws, and you get him being magnetized.
There's a fun one. That is so fun. Oh my God. Yeah. I also, by the way, I don't know if you bumped on this, but like Bond shoots him in the fucking mouth. He knows he has a fucking, I was like, what?
Yeah.
That part, but that goes to the campiness of the film, which is, after I saw that, I'm like, oh, I fucking love this film. Because how silly is that the one place he shoots him is the one place he's bulletproof to, Like, I just thought it was so ridiculous. So anyway.
I do like, too, that when we get into, like, the final battle of this movie, it's kind of like the older films.
Yeah.
Where, they rescue all the prisoners from the 2 subs. So now it's this big, like, kind of battle scene in this underwater fortress.
They got to shoot each other.
Like,
it's
do the nuclear bomb. They get the blast doors open and all that. That's pretty cool. Here's the one thing that bums me out about this movie, though. This is the one negative I got. Great scene when Anya realizes, when she puts together that he's the one who killed her dude in Austria. He brings in Austria last week, and she's like, wait, what were you doing over there? Where did you, kill this guy? Another great performance moment from Moore, too, and this is very much in the character when he gets he turns off all the charming shit and gets in the serious, like, professional mode. When he's just like, he knew the risks. He knew the risks. You know the risk, too. That's the business we're in. I can't keep track of everybody. When there's
no hard feelings. Anybody he kills.
Yeah, when you're skiing down the mountain and someone's trying to put a bullet in your back, these things happen. And when she tells him, when this message is over, I'm gonna kill you. Like, we're gonna have it out. My one disappointment, and it is like, it makes sense they go this way because it's the tone they set in the movie. But this is where I do wish some of these films would like go more into these character moments and just give me a little more. Is it just undercut by at the end he like pops the champagne and she's like, it's okay, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just, because that was such an interesting concept of like, oh, they're working together, they're like becoming kind of buds, but now there's like a little bit of a vendetta there. And yeah, how are we going to end this? Even though he's going to like save her in the end, like, and I don't know. I think there could have been a little more there. I was just a little disappointed the first time I saw this.
No joke. Totally agree with you.
Yeah.
It's the one thing it's the only thing I bumped on in this. Well, that's not the only thing, but there's a couple this is one of the few things that I bumped on.
It's like, why even set that up in the story
Why put that in there?
if you're not going to do anything with it?
Because how interesting it would have been had a different choice. Not that she's gonna kill her or whatever, but she's the double O of her side of the story. And I totally agree with you that that I bumped on it, to say the least. I think it was, and I get it, it's Bond. You're not going to kill off Bond, but I mean, I don't know.
Or at least like give into the drama right there, and at least don't have them like fucking fuck at the end.
Right.
At least
that part,
be
then I
like,
started
"All right, we're not
laughing,
gonna," because then that's when it turns into like, oh, there's the mandate of they're gonna float away on the bed or whatever, keeping the British sir. That is a great line. But
literally when he pulls out the bottle of champagne, I just like fucking, I could not stop. I mean, how ridiculous is this? The nuclear weapons have just been fired.
We're safe now. Yeah.
And everyone's watching you fuck as you enter and back into the submarine the aircraft carrier or whatever.
He's attempting re-entry.
I did laugh. I will not lie.
Yeah.
But I did laugh. But
yeah, you can't help but like it's too
so
funny,
ridiculous.
all these, and it just gets cringier and cringier
literally
as the movies go.
But that's the whole point, right? Like that's
no, it's fun.
You gotta love him for making
it. It becomes the thing where it's like, at the end it's gonna be and it's always like in a boat. Like ever since Dr. No, they're always on a boat at the end, no matter where they're at,
or raft or whatever. It doesn't matter
in the water. But yeah, that was the one part where it feels like, man, you set up this really
Super
interesting, cool moment. Like, what's that gonna amount to? And then she's just like, nah, it'll be fine.
I know we've already got this, but one of the things too, by the way, that I didn't. It's the first Bond movie I've seen where we see Bond in uniform.
Yeah.
Is he in uniform in any other films?
Yeah, a few of them.
Okay. First one I had seen with him in uniform.
Yeah.
So
I forget the other ones, but it happens a few times.
So does it happen a few times?
Even once with Brosnan too.
Oh, interesting. Really?
Yeah, I think.
Oh shit, it's been a while.
It might be maybe.
I've seen all those.
Maybe GoldenEye or World's Not Enough. I don't know. It's one of the movies he does. I think Roger Moore does it one more time.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't remember if Connery ever did it. If he did, it was probably You Only Live Twice.
Got it.
The naval uniform. It's always interesting to see that, like the roots.
Right.
Like, Commander Bond.
What could have been there? Obviously, well, not obviously, but it would have been even. I don't know if it would have changed much things, but it would have been an interesting choice to see had that not been the choice she made. So I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
I definitely bumped on that real quickly.
Yeah, but yeah, man. I mean, it's a good one. I'm glad you dug it.
Even on the first watch, high up on my ranking. I'm gonna enjoy watching that one again.
Yeah.
I just had so much fun watching it. I love to see it on big screen. If it's ever playing a New Bev or anything like that, let me know, dude, because I want to go see it.
We'll do. No, it was really fun.
That one I'll make time for. It's super cool.
Yeah, super fun.
If you haven't, watch it loud. It's fun.
One thing that's crazy is, so at the end of this movie, it says in the credits, James Bond will return in For Your Eyes Only.
Ooh, I didn't see the watch the credits.
So, because at that time, they like each movie said what the next one was going to be.
Oh, I got you.
But Star Wars came out the week after this movie opened.
Gotcha. So we're not in a post-Star Wars film world. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So one, it
77.
didn't do as well financially because of that. I think Star Wars kind of took over. But yeah, that's kind of a fun fact because it says For Your Eyes Only will be the next one. But Star Wars comes out a week later, so the next movie ended up being Moonraker, which I've talked about before. Put him in space.
Put him in space.
Star Wars,
everything's
lasers.
going to be in space. It doesn't matter. Everything's in space after that.
Yeah. So they kind of pushed the next one back a little bit. Yeah, man.
Interesting timing too, by the way, is with the announcement that next year we're getting the original theatrical release of Star Wars.
Yeah.
2027. So
yeah, that'll be cool. Hopefully.
Thanks so much for suggesting this one. And I haven't seen any of the other Roger Moore films, but this one feels like a good one to start with if you're going to start your Roger Moore journey, because Holy crap, was this fun. It is 100% flat out fun for the 2 hours you're watching the film.
Yeah.
Never gets boring. Laughing my ass off. I laughed out loud multiple times watching this, so which is uncomfortable when you're around other people too. But whatever.
Yeah, he always just has I mean, Connery had him too, but I feel like Roger Moore, they gave him even more of the kind of one-liners, or like he'll kill somebody and say something funny afterwards. You know? Like say some kind of joke.
Oh, it's so good.
And you see now why, like, imagine watching the Roger Moore era and then getting to like the Living Daylights.
Oh my
Like
God.
now you can
It's a totally
understand.
different film.
Yeah, you can understand why for me, I was like, I don't know if I really like this.
Dude, it is.
Because after 7 movies, or like he to this day did the most movies.
A decade and a half, man. He was doing it for a while.
7 films. I think.
Or 12 years, 13 years, whatever it is.
Yeah, something like that. I think Daniel Craig had the longest time frame.
Okay,
I think he was 15 years. So yeah, this was probably 12 or something,
Okay.
but 7 movies. So yeah, like you get used to it when you're watching all of them. You're like, oh, this is Bond, and then it changes, and you're like, oh shit.
And it is a jarring change. For
Yeah.
Sure. So
But it's funny. I mean, I think you can probably imagine now, like how you've heard me talk about this, like Pierce Brosnan, to me, like kind of encapsulated everybody so well, because I feel like he had a lot of the kind of Roger Moore charm and vibe, but like still the hard edge of like the other 2 guys.
it still hasn't changed, in my opinion, that like yourself, like GoldenEye is still like kind of the epitome of all of these things put into one. It gives me an appreciation that I didn't have before. Like, I can understand why so many folks have chosen their James Bond is Roger Moore. Like, I get it. First of all, he played it for a long time, but then secondly, he is goddamn likable. Like, he's so charming in the character, and I think Connery is to a certain extent, but in a really different way. So like, I can understand why my dad's generation, who's is pushing 80 now, like that was his Bond.
Yeah.
And so Roger Moore was a different take on the character, but I'm glad they let him do that because it's really enjoyable. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, it was a smart move to start playing to his strengths.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
like with Dalton, like, okay, let's play to his strengths and not try to make him
and I really like them.
fit into that, you know? Yeah, Roger Moore's Bond seems like someone like you could hang out with.
You could hang out with, yes, exactly.
Yeah, like Connery.
Very
could be-
charming.
Yeah,
very
like
charming.
Connery's Bond could be like kind of cool, but like he'll be distant from you. Like Moore is gonna let you in, and you're gonna have a good time having some drinks with them.
Totally agree. Totally agree, man.
All right, awesome, man.
Good flick, good.
Well, that's a wrap on this one, everybody. Cheers.
Thank you for listening to the Drinks in a Movie podcast. You can now find us on Instagram at Drinks in a Movie Pod, where we'll be posting photos from all the various films that we discuss. You can also email us at drinksinAmoviepod@gmail.com. Please rate, review, and subscribe, and thank you for listening.